The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is a marvel of technology. So, what are some of the best tips and tricks? What are some cool things that you can actually get done with this? Let's find out. The very first few of these is going to be aimed at those of us, me included, that might be transferring from an iPhone to the Android. Now, the first thing, you may have skipped this or you may not have done this when you first set up the phone, but I would recommend transferring the data via USB-C. This is a very easy process, even if you decided to skip it when you first started opening up your phone. All you have to do is go to settings, click on the little magnifying glass, the search that everything's named after, type in transfer, and then you'll be able to go from there to starting the transfer over via USB-C. You could do this wirelessly, however, that's going to take a whole lot longer. You plug in the cable, you do a few steps on your iPhone, and boom, you are up and running. Depending on how much stuff you have, it could take longer or shorter. It took me about 30 minutes to transfer everything because I have a lot of apps, a lot of pictures, a lot of contacts, all that stuff. But once you do, you are up and ready to go. The second thing, I wanted to talk about this while we're still talking about setup, is when you swipe down on notifications, that does give you a range of controls and things that you can use quickly on your phone. However, if you swipe down again, that gives you a whole host of new options, from airplane mode to flashlight, mobile hotspot, power saving, screen recorder, link to Windows, which is kind of like what Apple does, Dex, which is pretty important to me, multi-control, which we will actually talk about later, but a whole bunch of things that just give you a little more control over your phone without having to dive into the settings screen. I love this thing. I use it on my tab all of the time. Okay, hey, we had to come over to the unboxing desk so I could show you a couple more things here on the phone. So the next thing's really cool because taking care of your tech is very important. A little bit of preventative maintenance saves all the trouble in the world, right? So one of the cool things that you can do with Samsung phones and the 24 Ultra specifically, you can run Diagnostics internally. All you have to do is we came to settings, you type in Diagnostics. It can spell for me. You can see here inside of device care, you'll go all the way down. This is also where you would update your software. But all you have to do is tap on diagnostics, phone diagnostics, and it gives you a whole range of things that it can test, up to 26 different kinds of tests. You could just tap test all if you want to do this, but hey, say maybe you're worried about your power restart status. You can test it and it'll check it out. These are cool things that you can do to just make sure everything's working well on your phone. And it took seconds to make happen. And it's just nice to be able to do this on your own without having to go to a repair person, without having to plug this into something, a diagnostic tool. You get all of that built into the phone. The next thing I want to talk about has to do with all of these beautiful cameras over here. Again, if you are a Samsung diehard, you probably already know this stuff, but this is something that I found out as I've been using this phone over the past couple of days. For the cameras, you can actually set it up into pro mode on your own. Now, what that means is you can have a lot of manual control over the cameras yourself. You can set things like shutter speed, ISO, you can manually focus the camera. You can't change the aperture because these are fixed aperture cameras. Apple does the same thing, but this gives you a lot more control over this than you would normally get. For example, for Apple, with the standard app, you get very, very little control. You have to download an additional app, and some of those apps you have to pay for if you actually want to get a lot of the controls over it. But I really just like this. I'm kind of a big video nerd, and I like that the Pro Video section also lets you check audio levels. It gives you a little histogram here to make sure you're exposing properly. Now, you're not going to be able to see that too much if you're in front of the camera, but these are nice tools to have if you take video a little more seriously than just tap to record. Okay, the next tip is one of the big selling points of the 24 series as a whole is the AI features that come enabled with it. One is Google Circles. Now, this is a way to sort of visually search Google. So to do this, you just hold down on the home button, then you just draw around the object, and now it will search for it. So it found that this is a Wear S5 watch, which it actually is. Check it out, Wear S5 mechanical watch. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's that easy. You could do this with anything. This is just a picture I took. Let's say I'm on YouTube watching a very long video about a game I'm never going to play, but I'm curious, hey, what game actually is this? Scan and circle. Boom, Signalis. It's just that easy. So it's a way to quickly visually scan an image or text and have Google run a search for that for you. This is so great. There's so many times I'm like, what does that image look like? Or what is that? What is that? What is that? And I can't like describe what the logo is in a Google search. This way, you don't have to describe it anymore. You just hold the button, circle it. So cool. Another awesome thing that the AI can help you with is translating and typing out text in the first place. First off, For translation, just go to your text messages. Here's one when I was getting a haircut. You then tap on text messages and you see this little icon right here with the stars. That's the AI. You tap on that, chat translation. It will auto do it. But let's say we want to take this and we want to translate it to Spanish. Boom. It just does it automatically for you. And then as you are talking or as you are chatting with somebody, it can do this in real time. That's so powerful to be able to communicate with people, even though you physically don't speak the same language. That's incredible. Bringing people together. I know it's kind of sappy for tech sometimes, but I really like tech that can bring people together. And this one is really, really good. We're not going to make this the AI video, but another thing the AI can do is when you go to edit photos, you can see here now it's blue. The AI will help you reimagine your image. You can turn it and then generate. Now the AI should generate the rest of what's going on in the photo. Boom. Done. Looks all right. I mean, I don't know that I would say that that's totally perfect, but another important thing that I see people beat phones up all the time is battery protection. We talked about preventative maintenance a little bit earlier in the video when we talked about being able to run diagnostics, but something that I really want you to be able to see for your phone is that you can also do a little bit of battery protection on here. So go down into settings to device care, tap on the battery, and then see it says battery protection, power saving, things like this. Battery protection will give you some options. You can do basic, adaptive, or maximum. I will do maximum. This says right here, so it will stop charging your battery when it hits 80% unless you override it to charge it for more. Now, lithium-ion batteries, we're not going to get into a huge lithium-ion battery discussion here. And they don't like being at 0% and they don't like being at 100%. So the more you can keep it in that middle, that's great. But if you are going to be traveling and you're going to be away from the wall, you're going to be away from outlets, charging, stuff like that, you can turn this off and then you should be really good to go. You will got to protect your batteries because that's like the biggest investment in this phone, right? If you tear up the battery and it has terrible battery life, then you're just carrying around a big old gigantic brick, right? And then one more thing that I wanted to show while we're still here at the desk is I guess this is more of like a Tab S9 thing than it is an Ultra thing, but it's so cool and it involves the Ultra that I really wanted to share it with you today. So there's a way that you can do screen sharing between the two devices. Check this out. Now you can see here on my Tab S9, I have my travel mouse on. You can see I've got the device set up in DeX mode. I generally always have my Tab S9 set up in DeX mode, but what you can do is you can connect your two devices with multi-control via the DeX menu. What that gives you is the ability to, so I've got a mouse here, I can go between the two devices. Let's say I have my notes set up on my phone. I want to be able to check those while I'm working. Hey, guess what? We can copy and then paste those over here. Boom, or vice versa. It lets you use the two as dual screen technology, which I'm always a big fan of. I love being able to have multiple screens with the same small kit that I'm always bringing with me. So I love DeX. I've made whole videos about DeX in the past, but this is a cool one that'll work between your Tab and your Ultra. But what about you? Actually, trickery here today. We have a bonus tip and trick. Check this out. This is the S Pen, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Gary, I know that you can take pictures with the little button here. I know all the fancy stuff you can do, but here's my bonus tip. Isn't that so cool? You can use this just like a regular pen. I don't know about you, but during the workday, I am clicking pens a lot. Holy crap, I love this so much. This right here is the whole reason I made this video. I had to share this specifically with somebody, and that somebody got to be you. But what about you? Are there any tips and tricks that you found that I didn't mention today? Please let us all know. Let's share all that information in the comments below. And if you like this video and you want to see what comes in the box and how cool these phones are by themselves, you can click right here to see either the S24 or the S24 Ultra. Click, 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 click. I love it. I love it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do this forever. Oh, so good.